I am here today for two reasons. The first reason is to show you the connection between two seemingly unconnectable things: the mathematical theory of a limit and the shot clock, which is used in the game of basketball. The second reason, well, we'll get to that. Now, since this is your Saturday and I'm fairly certain you didn't come here to be lectured on math, we'll start with that. I'm sure many of you have heard of or have even done the horror that we have come to call calculus. And as somebody who's been doing it for a few years now, I can say in its full-blown form, it is awful, but in some of its more simpler forms, it's not so bad. So on a graph, you have the x-axis and the y-axis. The y-axis runs vertically, the x-axis runs horizontally. Calculus is essentially this line. Now, a line is simply a series of points that are so infinitely close together that it appears as if they're interconnected. They're not, but it looks as if they are. And you can extend that line, and those points will get closer and closer to zero, but never, ever will they quite reach zero. And that's it. That is the theory of a limit. Now, please do not sign up for a calculus class thinking it will be this easy, because you will regret it. So now that the worst is over, I'll now move on to the shot clock. As I mentioned, the shot clock is used in the game of basketball. So picture this. The ref hands you the ball, and the clock starts ticking away. But at the same time, the shot clock also starts ticking away. 24, 23, 22. You pass the ball to your teammate. 21, 19, 20, 19, and then they take a shot. Now, if that ball hits the rim of the net or goes in the net, the shot clock resets. If, when you pass the ball to your teammate, the ball had been intercepted and the other team had gained control, the shot clock also would have reset. Under most circumstances, aside from a few rare instances that I won't bore you with today, if the other team gains control of the ball, the shot clock resets. Now, I want everyone to close their eyes and picture this. And yes, that means everyone. You are the star basketball player on the best team that has ever existed. Normally, you dodge the other team's pathetic attempts at defense without a second thought. And you don't really even understand the shot clock, A, because the presenter did a horrible job of explaining it, and B, you never had to. With the ball in your hands, the only time the shot clock reset was when you got a basket. But on this particular day, it's the championship game, and by some miracle, your team is losing. Your teammate loses control of the ball, it goes out of bounds, and the game stops. Your coach is telling you to come off the floor, just take a break and breathe. But his voice is quickly overcome by the crowd. Now the crowd is filled with everyone you've ever known. Your classmates, professors, coworkers, family, friends, everyone. And you can't let them down now, can you? So you ignore your coach, you stay in the game. But then the other team gets a basket, and then another, and then another. And before you know it, even though the crowd's cheering louder than ever, you do something you never imagined yourself doing. You toss the ball. It goes out of bounds, and the game stops. You head over to the bench where your teammates are waiting with a towel and a water bottle, and you sit. And your shot clock resets. You can open your eyes now. I'm now going to tell you the story of someone that I've become fairly close with. In their life, they were the star player. It was rare that when they had the ball, it didn't go in the net. But then one day, for no apparent reason, they stopped scoring. And no matter how hard that crowd cheered, the ball wouldn't go in the net. And the crowd, they weren't cheering for them. They weren't cheering for the star player. No, they were cheering for the end goal, for their favorite team to win the championship game, or in my friend's case, to go on to medical school. And the crowd had great intentions, sure, but they didn't get it. They hadn't seen their star player beginning to struggle at practices. No, those were their teammates. They understood. From there, I don't know what happens to the game. Maybe the star player's teammates win the game for them. Maybe the star player subs back in, wins the game for themselves. Maybe they lose either way. I don't know. But what I do know is that keeping that player in the game wouldn't have done anyone any good. In fact, it probably would have made it a lot worse. And I know that because every second that my friends spent playing the game that the crowd was cheering for made it much worse for them. And making it worse is not worth it. I told you I was here today for 2 reasons, and I'll now move on to that second reason. But if you remember that, you'll also remember that when I came out here, I didn't tell you anything about myself. In fact, I didn't even tell you my name. My given name is Catherine Hall, and when I came to UNBSJ, I was shy and kind of passive, and I had complete intentions on keeping my head down and heading straight on down the hill to the medical school. That's not who I am now. My name is Cassie Hall. I'm a psych major, and I have absolutely no idea what I'm going to do with that. And that's okay, because what I do know is that after resetting my own shot clock many, many times, I know that what I want to do is to make a difference. Because on a graph, such as this, you have what we call the limit. And those points will get closer and closer together, but they will never quite reach 0. And in calculus, that is the principle. That you will never reach 0. So the farther and farther you extend that horizontal line, the closer and the closer it will get to 0. And each of those points represents a point in your life where your own shot clock can reset. You were born, it resets. You started school, it resets. You went to middle school, to high school, to university. All of them resets. But those are just the resets that you and I have in common. In reality, each of us has our own individual set of resets. Whether it was when you moved from your family home, or when your mother signed you up for that sport that you pretended to hate but you actually loved. But some of them were entirely your control, like which university you chose to attend, or simply what you choose to do in your free time. And all of them matter because for us, this isn't just a game, it's our life. As I mentioned, I don't know what I'm doing. I have absolutely no idea. But I know that when I came out here today, I reset my own shot clock. And yours can too. I'm not saying that you have to be the star player on some unbeatable basketball team, or that you have to stand in front of a crowd and give a speech that realistically only half of you are paying attention to right now. But what I am saying is that you have to be the star player in your own life. Maybe for you, that means reaching out to mental health services, or perhaps quitting a habit that you've known you need to quit. Or maybe it means starting a new one, like going to the gym. I mean, I know I'm not going to anytime soon, but you guys can. Perhaps it means ending old relationships to make room for new ones, or simply taking a chance in your day to breathe. Whatever that thing is, you need to do it. You need to reset your shot clock. Because as I mentioned, this isn't just a game. It's our life. And if I can do it, I have absolutely no doubt that every single person in this room can. Why? Because of calculus. You can extend that horizontal line to the moon and back, and it will never reach 0. Because then you're no longer in the realm of calculus, but you're also not in the realm of life where you have every chance to change. So no matter how close you or I think we are to reaching our limit, you never will. Not in this lifetime anyways. You'll just know it's time for you to reset your shot clock. Thank you.